All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, December 10th, Community Development Human Services Regular Committee. I am Jason Winston, Chair of the committee. I am joined by Council Members Boone, Dozier, and to my left, Councilmember Norwood. This does constitute a quorum, so I officially call this meeting to order. I will make a motion to adopt the agenda. We have a second by Councilmember Dozier. Can you please open the vote?
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Next, I will make a motion to approve the minutes from our previous meeting.
Second.
A second by Dozier. Can you please open the vote?
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Next, this takes us to the public comment section of our agenda. We'll check to see if we have someone signed up. And we have one speaker, Ms. Henry Jordan. You'll have 3 minutes.
Give now to the Spirit of God, everyone that's here. For whosoever shall do the will of God, the same is my brother and my sister and mother. Mark 3rd, chapter 35th verse. Mutual obedience to God comprises a tie that binds more closely than mere bloodlines. When searching for properties to start Christ-given business with the homeless calling on Jesus, I noticed on the map across the street a property owned by China. I asked Jesus, since China is our enemy, what about our protection? Then the Lord showed me in a vision tall white angels protecting the properties that I will purchase for his will for our lives. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times, Psalms 12, chapter 6, verse. The oppression of the righteous by the wicked is especially felt in the realm of vain and proud speech. But the righteous find comfort in the pure and valuable word of God. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. Matthew 10, chapter 18, verse. It shall be given you promises that the inner prompting of the Holy Spirit will tell them what to say in each situation they would face. The Lord informed me Russia is plotting to kill James Griff. The secret things belong unto the Lord our God, but those things which are revealed belong to us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. Deuteronomy 29, chapter 29, verse. Revelation is the act by which God gave men knowledge about himself and his creation, which man could not otherwise have known. I attempt to reveal what Jesus has shown to me to give to you. To seek for me to work your job is to ask for death. Your plan will not save like Christ's plan. We need Christ more than he needs us. And I thank God that I could stand. Sometimes I don't want to stand my flesh. I have to fight the flesh because I need Christ. I don't know about you, but I know I need him. And we living on his time. He gave it to us, and it's what we owe him. He made us to serve him. It's a danger not to serve Christ. Thank you. Obey Jesus.
Thank you. So that does conclude the public comment section of our agenda. We do have presentations today, but colleagues, if you'll indulge us, we have 2 communications on our held portion of our agenda, and I think the individuals are here, so we'd like to take those items, which are number 23 and 24 on our agenda.
Item number 23 is 24C 5139, a communication from Council President Doug Shipman appointing Mr. Larry Riley to serve as a member of the City of Atlanta Reparations Study Committee.
Mr. Riley, you don't mind coming to the podium, telling us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in this position?
Hello. Once again, my name is Larry Riley. I am a resident of the city of Atlanta, District 10. Hello. I'm a graduate of Ohio University. I actually born here in Atlanta, raised mostly in Columbus, Georgia. Graduated high school and college in the Dayton, Ohio area. And so when it comes to being appointed to the Atlanta Reparations Committee, it comes after since 2019. I've been part of the organization. Oh, that's better right there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, since 2019, I've been a part of an organization called the ADOS Advocacy Foundation, which stands for American Descendants of Slavery Advocacy Foundation. And what we do is advocate specifically for the descendants of slavery and also just do different activities around the community. Myself, as a resident of the city of Atlanta, I regularly attend community meetings. I actually attend our MPU I meetings, MPU I on a regular, doing cleanups, community cleanups, things like marching for sidewalks on Beecher Road. I don't know if that may be Overstreet, but okay. But yeah, definitely bring an element to the commission that really needs that comes from a community's perspective. I'm not a PhD like so many are, but I come from a more of a regular person in the community. So that's what I bring.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
I move approval.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Boone has been properly seconded by Councilmember Dozier. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays.
Congratulations, Mr. Riley. Thank you for your service to the city of Atlanta.
All right, thank you.
Item number 24 is 24C5140, a communication from Council President Doug Shipman appointing Ms. Cheryl Venable to serve as a member of the Midtown Community Improvement District Board of Directors. This appointment is for a term of 4 years.
Ms. Venable, if you don't mind coming to the podium, telling us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in this position.
Sure. Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Cheryl Venable. I am our Chief Operating Officer and First Vice President of the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta for our 6th district. I have been in that position only for 4 months, so I'll be replacing my predecessor, Andre Anderson, in this role. And we have been an anchor in the Midtown area since our building opened in 2001. And since that time have seen great prosperous developments around the area that focuses on living, play, and business. And it aligns so closely with the mission of the Federal Reserve System, which is to advance the work of individuals and businesses and communities to really make an economy that works for everyone. And so I view my role as a good citizen of being a part of that Midtown community and also bringing forward to that area opportunities to partner with the Federal Reserve to continue to move forward our desires to make an economy that works for everyone. I've been in Atlanta for, I guess, about 15 years now. I've been a part of the metro area and have really seen an opportunity or have seen the opportunity for Midtown to really grow during that time. So I look forward to the opportunity to participate on this board.
Okay. Thank you. We got a motion to approve by Councilmember Norwood. We got a second by Dozier. Can you please open the vote?
Vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays.
Congratulations, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Colleagues, this takes us back to the presentation section of the agenda. We had 3 scheduled presentations. You do have a handout from the Atlanta Beltline, Inc. For their quarterly update, but we will ask Department of Parks and Recreations to come up first. Commissioner Cutler. Yes, did you all get one? Yes, they got one.
Good afternoon, Chair Winston and members of CDHS. Thank you for having the Department of Parks and Recreation here today. On behalf of the men and women of the department, we are here to provide equitable access to outstanding recreation, natural, and cultural experiences that enhance the happiness, health, well-being of all Atlantans. And we do that by investing in our parks and recreation resources, connecting them to each other through trails and roads and trail bridges, and we grow them by acquiring new land and adding more programs to our services. And what this presentation represents is the work over the last quarter and a little bit beyond, encapsulating just the hard work of the men and women of the Department of Parks and Rec. So as you see here on the slide before you, what this shows is that our programs are performing well. Total out-of-school time is up 21% over last fiscal year, adding over 240 kids to our programs. We've increased our snack program. We've increased our dinner participation for a total of 5% increase in meals served and snacks served to our young people. Our fall break, we increased it by 1 kid this year. This is something that we started about 2 years ago, offering fall break and winter break camps, recognizing that not every family is able to go out of town during the holidays or during these breaks. And so we brought this as a means of providing additional services and childcare opportunities. In addition to that, we have 19 sites. We recently added C.A. Scott in your district, Councilmember Dozier, in order to bring more activity and more childcare to that community. We also offer bike education, Inner Explore, which is a mindfulness program, pottery through our kiln program, jewelry making, smart computer labs, esports, Atlanta Beltline group fitness, mental health, focused training, sports clinics, Story City, which is an adventure-based augmented reality program, outdoor nature identification, and Martin Luther King Teen Takeover. So the kids are happy and healthy and having a great time in our out-of-school time. And I think these numbers represent the great work that the team is doing. In addition to that, we had another great fall athletic season. Total participation increased by 5%, just over 90 new kids participated in our programs. This also includes our swim lessons, which increased by 12% in the upper right-hand corner there. And our dolphin swim team had phenomenal growth at over 75% growth. So more kids are being active in our swim program and our swim team so that they learn how to swim and then be water safe. I also want to mention that the City of Atlanta is a founding member of the Atlanta Water Safety Coalition, which is a group comprising of the American Red Cross, WABE, Children's Hospital, the YMCA, and Sears Pool Management, which are helping to bring awareness to the number of incidences of drownings and also working on drowning prevention through lifeguard training, swim lessons, and education. So together we're making a difference to help keep our kids safe and make Atlanta the best place to raise a child. Our teen programs, we're happy to report that they recently won the Georgia Recreation and Parks Association Program of the Year Award for their great work in increasing their program by over 31% this last year. Now we have over 439 youth participating in our teen program. We have 14 sites. We're adding 12 staff in order to have a dedicated teen leader at each of those sites, recognizing that the consistency of our staff is really what support these young men and women. By having consistent, reliable staff is really going to help support even greater program. So we had a teen week, which was our fall break camp. We had the teen turkey giveaway. We had the Atlanta Teen Haunted House, which was hosted by our teens at Pittman Park. We had over 800 attendees. I myself went through the haunted house. There was definitely some scary parts. The teens did an amazing job, really high quality, and they love doing it every year. They also provided over 207 served over 207 youth and families through the sneaker and coat drive. So these teens are on the move. They're giving back, they're investing in Atlanta, and they do a phenomenal job. Our fall break camp had over 80 participants, which is up 35% from last year. Not only are we serving our teens and our young people, we're also focused on our seniors and making sure they have opportunity to reduce social isolation and live and age in place. So our numbers for our senior programs have increased over 17% year over year. We're now up to 18 senior sites. We just added a new senior site at English Recreation Center. This is a recreation center that had fallen into disrepair due to an incident, I believe, involving a small plane, and we repaired that facility. We brought it back to life, and now we have senior programming at that location. We're serving over 1,700 primetime seniors are enrolled as of October 2024, and we had over 540 older young people participate in our apple picking program, and over 63 Atlanta Olympians, senior Olympians, attended the event in Warner Robins, and 58 of those seniors qualified for the national games, which will be happening in Iowa in 2025. So we're really excited about our seniors and what they're accomplishing after age 55. If you aren't a part of our senior program, and you have to come out and check it out, the team does a phenomenal job. So here's some images and pictures of the great activities. Not only did we participate in the senior games, we also celebrated our seniors by having a senior game after dinner and awards night. Our teen leaders had a great Thanksgiving turkey giveaway. We had the coat drive, as you see up there. We also served over 207 people through the teen and coat drive. And if you see in the upper right-hand corner there, we celebrated at CT Martin, the 12th Good Neighbor Center in partnership with the Atlanta Hawks and State Farm Insurance. So this is a long-term relationship we had with the Atlanta Hawks. Not only do they invest in our recreation centers, they also invest in our outdoor courts. You may see these like at William Walker, Grant Park. CT Martin now we're working to do some outdoor space, but they have a beautiful indoor space. If you haven't been there, you have to go check it out. We also have some at Bessie, Brannon, and Cohen as well. So we continue to develop our partnerships. In addition to that, we also celebrated the grand opening of the Gooder grocery store. This is a grocery store in the Ben Hill neighborhood at the William Walker Recreation Center, where we serve over 100 families. We celebrated the grand opening of the Candler Park Playground, which has a beautiful new hill slide. The CT Martin Fall Festival, where we had a Halloween kind of fall theme. We also cut ribbon on the Chattahoochee Riverlands. This is the first public access point at Standing Peachtree Park in partnership with the Trust for Public Land and the Department of Natural Resources and Cobb County, envisioning a 100-mile beautiful river park called the Riverlands that is coming to life. And now we have the first public access at Standing Peachtree Park. It's also fully ADA accessible, so you can bring your kayak down to the water, and there is a transfer station for you to transfer from your wheeled device into your kayak and get out on the water. So it's a great opportunity. We also had, and I'll speak more about this later, golf community parties, playing off the whole par and tees. And this is a way to bring new golfers and celebrate our golfers that are currently golfing with us, to bring awareness to our 4 golf courses in Atlanta. We're also out and about the community, engaging families, engaging neighbors. We reached over 2,000 neighbors during the fall of 2024 through 15 citywide community events. Some of them are listed here. We have the Winter Jamboree, the 3rd annual More Than a Trim, the 4th annual Spring Egg Hunt coming up for a 4-day Earth Day celebration, and the beloved popsicles in the park, and all 12 districts are coming this summer. So a lot happening as we reach out. A word of note about our engagement team. The engagement team recently received an award from the Atlanta Public Schools during their annual 2025 APSEs Gala. And the quote here, I just want to read it because I think it speaks to the department and what we're accomplishing in partnership with APS. The City of Atlanta Parks and Recreation Department truly embodies the spirit of teamwork when it comes to partnering on behalf of Atlanta youth and families. Over the past 3 years, the partnership between Atlanta Public Schools and the Department of Parks and Recreation has strengthened tremendously through continuous communication, thoughtful programming, and inclusive practices. The facilities and programs serve as an extension of our students' village. Many sites offer enrichment opportunities that fill the gaps for students in need of additional academic and social emotional support. Philip and the central staff on the communication team have done an amazing job keeping APS abreast of current and emerging opportunities throughout the city. So congratulations to our wonderful team, our communication and engagement team. They continue to engage and involve community and involve all students. These are our children, not just APS students. They are our children together as a collective, which is really exciting. We also hosted over 8,000 Parks and Recreation professionals, over 8,300 at a conference at the World Congress Center. We received the Outstanding Program Award through the Atlanta Teen Leaders Academy, ages 13 to 18, and we completed the public engagement for our ATL Trails Plan. And we doubled our offerings and closed those out in the fall, offering over 24 movies in the park this last year for the city of Atlanta. Now more about the party and racket centers. So we hosted our parties. These were at each of our golf courses, a way to illuminate people to the fact that we have 4 golf courses, and they aren't just for golfers, they're for new golfers and future golfers, older golfers, younger golfers. We had great events, great opportunity to reach out. We intend to do more of these. We're planning our first citywide golf tournament, which will be in October of next year, which we're really excited about. More programs, more activities at our golf courses. And also our racket centers continue to see an increase in programs and opportunities at Washington, McGee, Sharon Lester, Chastain, and Bitsy Grant are all seeing an increase in programming. I'm going to give you some financial numbers here, but these aren't representative of the monetary, but are representative of the programming impact. In 2023, October 2023, we generated just over $50,000. In 2024, we generated over $300,000 for the first time in October. And that truly isn't about the dollars. That's about the level of programming that we're seeing at these sites and the investment that our community is making by coming out and participating in these great activities. So kudos to Agape and the tennis team for making it happen. Also, we're working to enhance our city golf program by launching our Friends of City Golf under the Friends of Park program with Park Pride. And this is an opportunity to engage old and new golfers and experience our golf courses for the first time, which we're really excited about. Here's just some park operation numbers. We want to just keep you updated on the numbers related to our target and our performance. We recently completed work along Anderson Avenue between KIP and the MARTA station. This was a special request from KIP and wanting to see that avenue between Anderson Avenue enhanced so that the kids feel comfortable walking to and from school. So we removed a large amount of debris, beat back the kudzu, and really made it nice for the kids. We also launched a mulch tree ring program where we're mulching around the trees in order to protect the roots, as well as mulching in areas where grass has stopped growing to prevent erosion. We're also working with the CEO team, which is a diversion program for formerly incarcerated adults, and we're working with them, and they've been able to add additional capacity to our litter pickup. So now we have more litter pickup on a more frequent basis to keep our parks looking clean and green. In addition to that, last year the City Council made an investment in increasing the park millage, which has allowed us to hire new public safety officers or park rangers. This is the new vehicles that we've been able to purchase. We've been able to hire 4 new staff. We received 4 new trucks. We've installed new cameras at Central, Mosley, Perkison, and Reverend James Orange between the last reporting period and this reporting period. And we're working to, which equates to over 250 cameras. Our millage report, excited to report that in 2024 we have encumbered all of the funds and 64% of the millage invoices have been paid as of September 2024. That was the latest number we had, and some of the invoices will continue in fiscal year 2025 and to avoid double counting. So we're really cognizant that at the end of the 5 years we need to we'll be compliant with the audit, and so we're really working hard to build good systems in the beginning to track these dollars. This includes building repairs at CT Martin, Roselle Fan, exterior landscaping, Lake Allatoona cabin repairs. So this next year we'll be able to offer overnight camps for our young people in our teen and our youth programs, which is the first time in a long time that we have been able to offer that. We've repaired doors, especially and extensive restroom repairs, fire and security, HVAC, and new pool packs with the skilled service team, and also numerous playground repairs that were on backlog. So we're also upgrading our rec center Wi-Fi and computers and installed over 100 trash cans across our city of Atlanta. So we are moving Atlanta forward, and these resources, thanks to City Council, have really made a difference in our ability to think ahead, be prepared for additional maintenance. In addition to that, our Moving Atlanta Forward bond program, we've completed 4 projects this quarter. The 4 projects include Cabbagetown, park improvements, Garden Hill fountain repairs, Oakland Cemetery repaving and mobility, as well as the Tremont Playground, which is a play lot in an underserved community. So we have been actively engaging and delivering on the Moving Atlanta Forward mission, and we have 15 projects that have closed, are completed, 24 that are currently under construction, and we have not started 23. So we're actively engaging and moving Atlanta forward through this bond program. Lastly, you may be thinking about, we dedicated some money for these pools. Where are the pools at? And so these are the pools that will be worked on this spring and ready for summer. So we have Mosley Park, Coach Charles Rambo Park, Maddox Park, Pittman Park, Candler Park, and Reverend James Orange will all get some type of major capital improvement and investment prior to this summer of 2025. So we continue to move the needle on our pools and make them look great. These are just some pictures of the improvements. You see Thomasville, the murals at Anderson in the upper right-hand corner, some murals at Grant Park. And we continue to make investments in our pools and move Atlanta forward. And to do all this, we have to have great staff. And the Department of Parks and Rec has great staff, and we host numerous trainings to support our team. Our team attended the National Recreation and Parks Association, which is a national conference. And one of the things we did was prioritize frontline staff being able to access that program. So we worked really hard to ensure that our more junior staff could be there, be present, get to rub elbows with national speakers and really hear and learn about the latest and greatest in Parks and Rec. In addition to that, we send staff to the Georgia Recreation Parks Association. We work with Leader Gov on a professional development training program. We will be conducting hiring blitzes, which will be coming up this next seasonal period. And we also have quarterly all-staff meetings to update the team on what's going on and provide budget numbers, because I believe everybody, when they know what the budget is doing and how we're performing, they're bought into where we're going and how we're getting there. So these are just the numbers around vacancies. And then on the right is a table that shows the additional teams that we're working on to hire thanks to the millage investment. So with all that, thank you for your time today. Happy to take any questions as we continue to move Atlanta forward.
Thank you, Commissioner Cutler, for that quarterly update from Parks and Rec. We'll start with questions from some colleagues. We'll start with Councilmember Dozier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Commissioner Cutler. Good to see you as always. Just a couple of, just a comment for y'all's awareness. We're continuing to have some issues with folks driving and parking in some of our city parks, specifically in the Mechanicsville community, both at Windsor Street Park as well as Ralph David Abernathy Plaza. Over at Windsor Street Park, folks are parking in the park itself. At Ralph David Abernathy Plaza, there are a series of semi-trucks and their trailers that continue to overnight park in the parking area. So as we get that ranger program moving forward, if y'all can do some regular checks on that to make sure that folks aren't doing that. Yeah. With the Windsor Street Park portion, hopefully the work that our office is doing in partnership with DPR will prevent that from happening going forward. And it's curious if there's a timeline on when we can expect construction to start on the improvements to Windsor Street Park, as well as a timeline on the new Reverend James Orange Park Recreation Center, if there's any changes or updates to that timeline as well.
Will do. We'll send those.
All right, thank you. And then my other question was with regards to, I was excited to see that we're back at bringing TOTS basketball back. Myself and my colleague to my left have a friendly rivalry with our little girls, matching up against each other. I did see that on the flyer, Dunbar was listed as a location, but when we tried to register, it wasn't on iParks. If it's not available for registration, that's fine. We'll figure it out. But if you can confirm that Dunbar is going to be a site for TOTS basketball, and I'll relay that information to some of the other parents in my community that are interested in getting their kids registered as well.
Yeah, thank you.
And that is it for now. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councilmember Boone.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. I do have a couple of questions. Again, thank you all so much and your great staff. Is Collier Park on the list to be upgraded at all, Collier Park Recreation Center? I know you and I and Commissioner Voss went out and did a tour. Is it on a list or anything to be upgraded?
It is on our radar, and I know you and I spoke about making sure that we enhance the exterior so that's more welcoming and inviting, and so that is on our list.
And the inside as well.
And the inside, yes.
Look, yes, it's very dated compared to some of like Flanagan and the other rec centers. So will you all please put that on a list for improvements? I don't think the inside has had anything done to it in the past 20 years except for the restrooms. Collier Park Recreation Center. Also, Charles Phillips interviewed some folks to take the place of Total Dance. We have one of the best dance studios at C.T. Martin, and we definitely want to see that up and going sometime in the new year. He interviewed a couple of vendors, and we want that dance is, and culture is just such a fabric in the Adamsville community. We want to make sure that we get someone in that dance studio as well.
Agreed.
So English is up and running now?
It is.
English is up and running?
is.
And how many seniors do you have in that program?
You know, I don't have that number here, but I will get that number and I'll
And
send it
it's
to
up
you.
and going. That's
It is
really
going, yeah.
wonderful. That's wonderful. Good news, good news. The lights at Wilson Mill Park, are they finished? Are they up and running, the lights at Wilson
So
Mill
they
Park?
aren't, but they will be done by February, is what,
Okay.
according to the contractor. So those lights and the lights at South Bend, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I know Jamila Jones and the Health Fun and Fitness is the largest senior program. What's the second largest? She has about 100 to 120 every Tuesday and Wednesday. What's the second largest?
That'd be C.T. Martin or William Walker. I know they reach into the hundreds as well. So there's a lot of programs, yeah.
So I know she does the exercising and all of that, and they mainly focus on bingo at CT Martin. So what other program do you have that mirrors hers?
Yeah,
Or
so
is
we're
the-
working with, sorry,
As
go
far
ahead.
as the exercising and all of that?
Yeah, so at all of our different sites, we have a myriad of different programs. So we have, just looking back here through my notes, we have different, like a technology program at different sites. We offer physical fitness. At CT Martin, we actually have water aerobics classes.
What's the second largest site like hers? I like to see another site mirrored like hers where you have all of that stuff going on at one time.
Yeah,
What's the
so,
second largest? Is it ML King or
you
Big
know, I
Hill?
don't have that offhand, but I'll send you the information. But I do know our new fall program, or our new winter program guide has a listing of all the senior programs. So seniors can go to our program guide. They can go online, which is a physical document. They can look at the location, the times of days that these different programs are happening, so.
So my concern is I would like to see something that mirrors what she does in another part of town.
Great.
I mean, I see a lot of people, it's like a citywide program. It's like I see a lot of folks from all council districts. So I would love to, so it's something there. It's something that she's doing at that center where everybody all over the city wants to converge, and that's great. But I would like to see whatever we're doing, let's look at some vendors so that we can have at least another site like hers. Like, what is her curriculum? You know, Tuesday and Wednesday, I mean, it's packed on Wednesday. Tuesday, you have upwards to 120, sometimes 140. So let's look at what she's doing. I know you're saying we have technology here, you might have aerobics here, but let's look at what her curriculum is doing, where we have all of these folks that we're picking up, bringing them to that site. Let's do that another place, maybe ML King or another recreation center, Ben Hill. But she's busting at the seams over there, and I love it. But I want to see that somewhere else as well, please.
Yeah, we agree, and I think our numbers show how we've increased senior programming and the number of sites across the city of Atlanta. So
Oh, I think it's
we're on the
great.
same page, 17% up, and
It's great, but I
Yeah.
just want to see whatever she's doing.
Oh, agreed.
I see
Yeah.
people not just from my district, but I go in there, like, where do you live? Oh, I live here. I live like, oh my goodness. So it's a citywide program in my district. I like to see that somewhere else.
Yep.
Congratulations to Coach Joseph Parker, who finally got a promotion. Well done to Joseph Parker. He is a very diligent, hardworking young man, so I was glad to see that. We have some slippery floors at CT Martin in Auditorium 1 and 2. On the left-hand side, there are some slippery floors near the windows. So we don't want any accidents. Please check on those slippery floors. And my last concern are the trees that Kay Wilkie at Peyton Road, Chalet in Peyton. She's trying to get some assistance at the Isabel Gates Webster Park with the trees. So if someone would please contact Kay Wilkie. She's the secretary of the Chalet Peyton community. I know we've exchanged a couple of emails with her. And also trees along Peyton Road near Peyton Crossing. If we could have someone from forestry get in touch with them. And looking forward to seeing some previews of the C.T. Martin Museum. I know we've been in touch with a couple of people, and we're just looking forward to seeing that. I see Keith in the back, and hi, Keith. we're looking forward to seeing some visuals so we can make that dream become a reality in March or April. Okay?
Great. Yeah.
Thank you again for your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councilmember Dozier had a follow-up.
Just one more comment. I don't know if it's DPR, if it's deemed, but the new signage outside of some of our rec centers, specifically Dunbar Neighborhood Center and Georgia Hill Center, they look phenomenal. So just want to give kudos to y'all's partnership in making that happen. It's nice that folks can see what resources are in those buildings, and I think they look great. So I just wanted to give you that.
Well, I'll give the kudos where kudos are due, and that's deemed. They've done a phenomenal job. So yeah.
Thank you. And we've been joined by Councilmember Michael Julian Bond. Also, I know we wrapped up a pretty successful pool season, and I know we're starting to think about next season. I just wanted to know if you had any kind of, lessons learned, things you want to do different going into the new season as you start looking at, just a year 2 of operations, actually year 3.
Year 3, yeah.
Of city managed operations. So just want to kind of get, if you could download a little bit of that.
Yeah, so we anticipate continuing to needing to hire more staff, right? That will always be the thing that drives our program and our ability to open pools. So we're going to start our hiring blitzes here. We already have a training program. I've seen a flyer advertising January lifeguard training classes. So if you or anybody at home watching has a young person ages 15 and up that want to learn how to lifeguard or even learn how to swim, we'll teach you how to swim so you can lifeguard. So we encourage people to sign up for that because that will impact what we're able to do. But our goal is to offer lessons. Our goal is to offer indoor programming as well for parts of our community that don't have an outdoor pool. So we're committed to doing that, to have free indoor swimming. So yeah, working hard to make sure that we are able to offer the programs that our communities desire. So.
All right, great. Any other questions, comments from colleagues? Seeing none, thank you all for all you do. We appreciate everyone that works with DPR. Our centers are being run in an amazing fashion right now, and there's a lot of energy and excitement around it. So thank you.
Yeah, the team's doing a great job. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We do have one more quarterly update. This one will come from the Department of Labor and Employment Services. They could.
Good afternoon, Council. Chairman Winston, thank you all for having us today. I'm Theresa Austin Gibbons, Deputy Commissioner of Signature Programs for the Atlanta Department of Labor, and I'll be presenting today for Mr. Flanagan in his absence. Mayor's 4 pillars. One safe city, opportunity for all, city built for a future, effective and ethical government. Department of Labor is working towards each of these pillars as each of the departments within the city of Atlanta. As we work with individuals through job training programs, workforce development, ensuring that they have good jobs with sustainable wages, we look to impact and have an effect on each one of these pillars as we move Atlanta forward. Today we have our staff here with us without Commissioner Flanagan. We have Dr. Walker, who's our Deputy Commissioner of Administrative Services, Ms. Sonia Wilson Westmoreland, our Deputy Commissioner of Workforce Services, and myself. This is our organizational chart for FY 2025. Each of our positions, I can say, is filled at this time. So that is kudos to our team working hard to ensure that we had the right individuals in the right seats to do the work for the city of Atlanta. Our finances. As you see here, we have youth, adult, and dislocated worker funds. These funds come from our grant administrator, the Technical College System of Georgia. These are federal funds under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, which total about $2.8 million. Additionally, we have the Quest grant, which also comes from that same organization, but these are state funds that we get to utilize for a dislocated worker or have been utilized for dislocated workers. Then you see our general funds at $1 million, thanks to Mayor Dickens and the council, for the Atlanta Department of Labor, for us to actually be a department and administer services to the residents of Atlanta. On our next slide, you can see the 3.6, that would be our 2.8 in adult dislocated worker and youth grants, as well as the Quest grant for dislocated workers. We utilize these funds to ensure that we are supporting individuals through workforce development with job placement, wraparound services, skills training, resume interviewing prep as well. Our trust fund for our summer youth program, which I'll talk about a little bit later, garnered 5,700 youth this past summer, and that was at $2 million, also assisting youth between the ages of 14 and 24 with placing them in jobs, as well as financial literacy and making sure that we had referrals to positions that these youth were interested in. Our general funds, again, from the council, $1 million allocated, and our philanthropic funds. So ADOLS, working through Commissioner Flanagan, was able to secure a little over $500,000 to ensure that we had about 16% additional funds to supplement not only funds from the trust fund, general funds, as well as our WIOA grants to, again, expand and ensure that we reach more citizens within the city of Atlanta when it comes to workforce development. Next, I'm going to turn the microphone over to our labor liaison, Ms. Embry, and she's going to talk about labor and innovation.
Thank you, Deputy Commissioner Gibbons. Greetings, everyone. I am Hamita Embry. I serve as the Labor Liaison Officer, and I am going to speak to you all very briefly about the things that we've been doing with labor and innovation. So our most recent initiative was the Good Jobs Alliance partnership. The partnership between Mayor Dickens and the Secretary of Labor, Julie Sue, on the Good Jobs Initiative ensures alignment between federal resources and local strategies, fostering opportunities for workforce training, job creation, and equitable economic growth within the community. This collaboration also emphasizes the importance of enforcing labor rights and fair wages, creating pathways for high-quality jobs while addressing workforce challenges in Atlanta, and setting a model for other cities nationwide. Next, we are also charged with educating and advocating on behalf of fair labor practices within the state of Georgia, and also maintaining strong labor relations between the mayor's administration and local labor unions. And so our labor rights education program, we are actually growing this program out. We have 2 community partners, Georgia Stand Up and Partnership for Southern Equity, who are partnering with us in this initiative to help educate the community about fair labor practices. And like I said, this initiative is growing. We just partnered with the Atlanta North Georgia Labor Council, so we're happy to bring them aboard as well. They'll be helping us with this task of educating the community as well. And then we also recently collaborated with the Cascade Business Alliance to empower its members with a deeper understanding of their responsibilities as small business owners. And so we're educating not only employees, but also employers on child labor laws, worker classifications, and other key labor issues. And speaking of those labor relations, I am joined today by a couple of labor leaders within the community. Labor union partners have expressed their concerns regarding the lack of representation during Office of Inspector General interviews. There is a lack of understanding of the rights and responsibilities around these investigations and interviews. And there's also concerns around access to personal, financial, and health records. And so labor leaders have asked that, and also employees of the City of Atlanta have requested the council to approve the Office of Inspector General Task Force recommendations that were presented to you all at the last council meeting. And then also labor partners have also requested a guide from the administration to assist the staff with compliance and protections. And that is all I have for labor and innovation. Oh, yes, thank you. And so I also would like to recognize Ms. Sandra Williams, who is the president of the Atlanta North Georgia Labor Council, who was very pivotal in speaking about the concerns related to representation in the Office of the Inspector General. And then I also have Mr. Tracy Thornhill, who serves as the executive director for AFSCME, which is one of our internal labor unions here in the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Embry. Now we'll go into our workforce services. So our workforce services under the WorkSource Atlanta, which is ADOLS, is our Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. So their board met on November the 7th. They have exceeded for program year 2023 all their performance goals. They either met or exceeded those goals. They have engaged with 4 new training providers with CDL, IT, and healthcare are just a few of the training providers that they have engaged with. They've launched new collaborations with KIPP Academy, the STEM Institute, and Construction Ready. And launching these new collaborations is very critical for our workforce, because the more vendors that we have that residents have accessibility to also enhances the training services within the city. They provided training and employment services to over 350 customers from July to November of 2024. And they've recently submitted with the other 4 workforce areas within the city, which is a federal regulation, the regional plan, and it has been approved by the Technical College System of Georgia, again, which is the grant administrator for these funds. We are moving forward and progressing in 2025 and increasing access to employment for Atlanta residents. To date, we have 414 adults and, say, dislocated workers that have received employment services, as well as the 5,700 youth that were employed this summer through the Summer Youth Employment Program. We have engaged to date with 69 community members and employers through the labor education, thanks to Ms. Embry and her team. Again, ADOLS has acquired about $7.6 million total with the federal funds, general funds, as well as philanthropic funds and our trust funds. With our largest placements this year, we've had, again, Walmart that had about 65 placements, and that was a career fair with over 2 days over at CT Martin, and then a 2-day fair for FEMA, who will be returning in early 2025. We had 72 placements with that career fair. The federal WIOA Act requires that there are performance measures. As any government, agency, city, there are always performance measures that you have to abide by. So with WIOA, which is Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, you have employment rate, which is your entered employment, individuals that actually are placed into work. So that's Q2 and Q4. We look after an individual exits the system of training. We have to have them employed by the 2nd and 4th quarter, as well as your median earnings of that cohort is reviewed, as well as measurable skills gains. As you can see on this slide, 6 of the performance measures have met between 50 to 90% of their goal as of July to September within this quarter, and 7 of those performance goals are exceeding. So you also see 2 that are below 50, and that's a requirement for each goal. For adult, dislocated worker, and youth, you have to meet individually at least 50% of those goals. Of the 2 that have not met, we are not concerned critically yet, because this is only the 1st quarter into this performance. So as you look at your measurable skills goals, individuals are still in training. So as they progress throughout, those goals will increase. Individual training accounts. So if you think about individual training accounts, these are a checkbook for an individual that comes into ADOLS. And so at this time, we have 127 individuals that have been issued vouchers to go into training. 25 of this first quarter have completed, and we've obligated a little over $320,000 to these trainings with CDL, healthcare, project management, business and finance, and IT. And these are our top 5 industries when it comes to employment within the city. So my favorite time of year, the Summer Youth Employment Program. November the 22nd, Mayor Dickens held a press conference at the IBEW Harry Bexley Auditorium, and he released, and you should have in your presence, our report, our Summer Youth Program 2024. And we also had a fireside chat that was hosted by Chief of Staff Donald. And we had some of our Miss Williams from the Atlanta North Georgia Labor Council, as well as U.S. Department of Labor, and Brandon Ona from the Technical College System of Georgia, who is the apprenticeship director. Our Summer Youth Employment Program numbers. We had over 6,500 youth that were registered for this program. Then we had 655 individuals that came through. We had 143 employers. Of those numbers, we had 5,700 that were placed. 1,500 of those individuals were in departments within the city of Atlanta. The remaining balance of those individuals were given by employers within the city that had signed on signing day that we did back in May, and stated that they would hire in youth within the city of Atlanta, and they would report that information to us. So the balance of all the numbers was from employers that were locally small, medium, and businesses that gave that information, such as Coca-Cola, Cox, Accenture. Our average wage was $17.70. Council, I don't know about you, but when I started out, even after with a college degree, I was not making $17.70 with a college degree. So I think that was something, a big feat for these youth that made that wage this summer, and our minimum was at least $15. The overall change in our crimes for ages 14 to 24 was down 23% overall. Between the ages of 18 to 24, it was a decrease of 25% from last year. In the offense category, you see the 46%, as well as there were 191 less arrests this year than there was in 2023 for the ages of 14 to 24. To close out Summer Youth, we have with us today Ms. Jade Brown, and she is going to speak to you on her experience through the Summer Youth Employment Program.
Good afternoon. My name is Jade Brown, and I'm honored to be here today to share my experience with the Summer Youth Employment Program. This past summer, I worked as an intern for the Atlanta Department of Labor and Employment Services, where I played an active role in supporting a program that connects young people like me to meaningful opportunities. In my role, I assisted with participant registration, I distributed MARTA cards to help participants get to their job sites, and I helped keep things organized behind the scenes. But SYEP was about so much more than just those tasks. It was about being a part of something bigger, working with a dedicated team to create opportunities for youth across Atlanta and seeing firsthand how impactful programs like this truly are. One of the most rewarding aspects of SYEP was the opportunity to meet professionals in fields I'm passionate about, such as science and animal care. These connections broadened my perspective and inspired me to think bigger about my career path. While my SYEP experience wasn't directly tied to my biology degree, studies, it was instrumental in shaping my aspirations. My primary goal is to complete my biology degree at Georgia State University and pursue a career in animal behavior. zoology, or conservation. Thanks to SYEP, I learned the importance of networking, mentorship, and building the skills I need to succeed. My biggest takeaway from this experience are the value of networking, the development of essential soft skills like communication and teamwork, and the importance of giving back. Supporting youth programs like SYEP not only helps individuals, but also uplifts the entire community. I want to thank Mayor Dickens and the council for their leadership and vision to make programs like SYEP possible. An advocate for Atlanta youth, he continues to create a pathway for us to grow and succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. So, Council, as you can see, Summer Youth Employment Program not only just teaches individuals that they go into a job and they get paid, they learn other skills that are valuable that they will take with them for a lifetime. So that concludes our report, and I will pause now.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll take questions and comments from colleagues. The queue is lining up, so we'll start with Councilmember Dozier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you so much for the presentation. Just a quick question with regards to WIOA. I recognize that WIOA is about half the department's budget, and with it being the federal grant, the stipulations that are tied to it are, we can only do so much with the criteria that the federal government places on us, but it's such a big part of our overall department's budget. And then with the incoming administration, who knows what the future of that funding pipeline might look like, if they change formulas or they just do big cuts no matter what. Has the department been looking at other funding opportunities or partnerships? I saw that philanthropic was a growing part of y'all's overall budget, but just curious if y'all are looking at future general fund allocations or other things to try to make sure that we can have more flexibility as a department, but also not rely on that federal grant as much as we have been in the past.
Yes. Councilman Dozier, we have been looking strategically at how we get more funding in philanthropic, as well as we work with the grants departments anytime that there are grants, whether it's federal, local, or state grants that are out there, how to bring additional funding into our department. You're welcome.
Thank you. Next question is from Councilmember Boone.
Yes, I would just like to thank you for your responsiveness during the summer months when our young people need special attention. You've always been able to meet with them, and you always make your staff available. So for that, we are so very, very grateful. And this book is very well done. So kudos to the entire team. This was a great, great booklet. Very easy to read, and I'd like to request a few more copies for my neighborhood planning units. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Councilmember Bond.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much, Deputy Commissioner, for a very thorough and informative presentation. And I want to thank everyone who was associated with it. This is good news that should be spread throughout the city as much as possible, the work that you're doing. But my question really isn't in relation to your presentation, but specifically around, I guess, the summer youth program. Have there been any discussions about expanding those job opportunities around the calendar year? Because I know that poverty doesn't take a break at the end of the summer, right? And so the economic needs, particularly with the looming change in administrations in Washington, are threatened, as was mentioned earlier. So have you all looked at perhaps expanding the program around the calendar year for those opportunities for youth?
So part of our planning, yes, we look at all things. So with expanding it, for the summer, you do have your specific summer youth employment program, but with the federal funds, which is a small pot of funds, we can work with individuals within that age group as well. So that would depend on additional funding that we get in, as I spoke about, with looking for additional grants, whether it's state, federal, or local, to expand those services.
Okay, but the conversation is being had, though.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
And Councilmember Bond, I will second Councilmember Dozier's questions around the grant. I mean, obviously something that we probably want to specifically look at. I think, almost 6 times the amount of money coming into that department comes from grants. And so definitely, I think looking at the new administration coming in, we just want to make sure we're doing everything to support you all because you are doing such great work that, as we go into the budget season next year, that we're conscious of that as we look towards, funding for the future. So we'd love to just get some more information on that whenever you have it available. And then lastly, I just had one for Ms. Brown. Congratulations, fellow Panther. Obviously, you have your sights set on working at a zoo, potentially. Zoo is in my district, so let's make sure we connect you with some folks at the zoo. I know they're also part of the Summer Youth Employment Program, so if that's something you're interested in, you can get my contact information, and we'll make sure we connect you with someone. Thank you all.
Thank you.
That concludes the presentation section of our agenda, so that will take us to our regular agenda items.
Section G, ordinances for second reading, and item number 1, 24-0-1680, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee or the chief procurement officer or his designee on behalf of the city of Atlanta to acquire from the Conservation Fund one parcel comprising approximately 0.1722 acres of real property and having the following street address: 80 Thurkield Avenue, for the expansion of Kempson Park at the total purchase price not to exceed $113,139.80, authorizing the mayor or his designee or the chief procurement officer or his designee on behalf of the city to execute all documents necessary to acquire the property, authorizing the acquisition, due diligence, closing costs, signage, demolition, site stabilization, and other site development costs to be paid from the Park Impact Fee South account, amending the 2025 General Government Capital Outlay Fund budgets in the Department of Parks and Recreation and the Department of Finance, Park South Service District, by transferring to and from various accounts listed herein, waiving Section 2-1541D of Article 10 of the Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City Code of Ordinances, and for other purposes.
Deputy Commissioner Voss.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of council, and thank you, Jared. That was a very, very thorough caption.
Yeah.
But just in recap, this ordinance authorizes the purchase of 0.1722 acres. It is adjacent to Kempson Park, which is in District 1. It's in southeast Atlanta. It's a small parcel, but it often gives us a lot more opportunity to do something in this park, which is basically just green space. So we're looking forward to that. We will be working with the community to see what that looks like, but we're very excited about this purchase. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. Was really excited to see this in the South Atlanta community. And then, so it's just an adjacent parcel that was empty already, or?
It was for sale. Somebody called it in from the neighborhood. We got it to the Conservation Fund, who is our great partner in trying to purchase these properties for the city. Made a quick sale, and we're looking forward to it becoming a park.
And what do you expect the community engagement to look like?
It'll start from scratch.
Okay.
If you know Kempson Park, it is really nothing more than just a green space. It's pretty, but there's nothing there. So this really opens our opportunities up to do a lot more. The current Kempson Park, I believe, is about 0.3. So this is actually about a third greater. So it's a big deal for us, making it closer to over a half acre.
Thank you. Any questions, additional questions, comments? Seeing none, I'll move to approve.
Second.
A motion to approve, second by Dozier. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas and 0 nays. Brings us to item 2, 24-0-1681. An ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract renewal for the contract listed here, advocacy and fundraising services with Park Pride, Inc. for a term of 2 years commencing on February 7, 2025 through February 6, 2027, and to pay $90,000.00 annually for the purpose of continuing the support of coordination of community engagement, volunteer support services fundraising services, and other services, including administration, planning, design, and construction management services for city parks and coordination of various parks programs and events, collectively the base services, on behalf of the Department of Parks and Recreation, to authorize an amendment to the executed agreement to increase the donation amount in an amount not to exceed $10 million and 0 cents annually, all expenses to be charged to and paid from the account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
Boss.
Thanks again, Mr. Chair and members of council. This authorizes a renewal of the current agreement with Park Pride. For over 35 years, they have been a valuable partner to the city and to the Department of Parks and Recreation. They provide services, education, and they also promote investment in all of our parks. And they have done that very well with over 100 parks groups across our city. This program has awarded Park Pride has awarded over $16 million investment in our parks. And so we'd like to continue that in the next 2 years through this renewal. I will also mention at the end, Jaron mentioned the $10 million. We are raising the amount of money that they can raise for our parks. Right now, I think it's listed as 5. This will allow them to raise up to $10 million of investment into our parks. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Really excited to continue the partnership with Park Pride. They do phenomenal work, and if you have never participated in one of their visioning processes, I highly encourage you to do that. Something I did before joining council, and I know it's a very transformative work for communities to go through that process. So I'll happily move approval. Is there a second? Second. A motion to approve, second by Councilmember Dozier. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas and 0 nays. Item number 3 is 24-0-1687, an ordinance by Councilmember Byron D. Amos to amend Part 3 Land Development Code, Part 20 Short-Term Rentals, to add a short-term rental license requirement for multifamily complexes, to revise the application requirements for a short-term rental license, to create location limitations on the issuance of short-term rental licenses, to clarify the requirements for short-term rental licenses and short-term rental agents, to revise the consequences of violating the terms of a short-term rental license, to increase the short-term rental application fee, to continue to ensure that short-term rentals are paying applicable state and local taxes, and for other purposes.
Colleagues, I know several of us are still having meetings about this item and the following item, and so at this time I'll make a motion to hold.
Second.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The item is held. Item number 4, 24-0-1691, an ordinance by Councilmember Michael Julian Bond to amend the Atlanta City Code, Part 2, Chapter 158, Article 2, to adopt a new tree protection ordinance for the City of Atlanta and for other purposes.
Thank you. Got a motion to hold. I'll second.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed. It's 4 yeas, 0 nays. The item will be held in the committee. Item number 5, 24-0-1692, an ordinance by Councilmember Dustin Hillis authorizing the City of Atlanta to execute a quitclaim deed conveying the city's interest in property known as the former A.D. Williams Elementary School located at 0 James Jackson Parkway to the Atlanta Independent School System, less and accept a portion comprising 0.20 acres to be conveyed to the Atlanta Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, to support the redevelopment of Bowen Homes, authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the city to execute such quitclaim deeds and all other necessary documents to effectuate the intent of this ordinance, to waive certain provisions of the Procurement and Real Estate Code, City Atlanta Code of Ordinances, Article 10, and for other purposes.
Thank you. Colleagues, this legislation needs to be amended to add Exhibit A, which is a property description and a map. So I'll make a motion to amend.
Second.
One moment. The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The item has been amended.
Tucker.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of CDHS. Will Tucker, Senior Policy Analyst with the Mayor's Office of Policy. Just wanted to come give you all a sense of what this paper is about. If you'll recall, over the last 2 years, we've done a series of papers working with APS to basically clear fractured title on sites that APS owns and operates, or at least operates and would like to own. So we've done so with 11 sites to date. 12 if you want to include the Hope Hill Gym, which was a great opportunity for us to actually do a land swap with APS to acquire the 405 Cooper site in Councilmember Dozier's district. And so this was one of the trickier properties. It's one of the kind of the last ones on the punch list. Thankfully, we've been able to clear up any issues with HUD that may have slowed this down in the past. And what we're trying to do is basically get the A.D. Williams former school site, which I believe has been closed since 2009, in APS's control. And then a subsequent paper is going to lessen accept a small portion of that site at the southeast corner of the parcel to convey directly to Atlanta Housing to support their Bowen Phase 2 development. So we're excited for that. And yeah.
Any questions, comments from colleagues? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion to approve with a second by Dozier. Can you please open the vote?
The vote is open. All right, the vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The item's approved as amended. Item number 6, 24O-1698, an ordinance by Council Member Jason H. Winston authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the Department of Grants and Community Development to enter into the First Amendment to the On-Call Entitlement Program Specialists Federal Entitlement Grants Agreement with Housing and Community Development Associates, LLC, to add funding awarded to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's Community Development Block Grant Program in an amount not to exceed $100,000.00, and from the Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS Program in an amount not to exceed $100,000.00 for the purpose of providing services for federal grant management and comprehensive staff training. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the account numbers listed are determined by the Chief Financial Officer, and for other purposes.
Thank you. Commissioner Lonnie.
Good afternoon, council members. Deborah London, Commissioner for the Department of Grants and Community Development. We initially asked for this legislation so that we could utilize the consultants who help us with training staff, training our external stakeholders, also preparing for the many deadlines that are forthcoming so that we don't fall behind. Initially, the focus was going to be on our home program, but we discovered that we needed to extend these on-call services to the remainder of the department's entitlement programs, and so we're adding the HOPWA funding stream so that we would be able to do that.
Any questions, comments from colleagues? Got a motion to approve by Dozier, second by Boone. Can you please open the vote?
The vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you.
Section H, resolutions. Item number 7, 24R4290, a resolution by Community Development Human Services Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the City Atlanta Department of Parks and Recreation to enter into an intergovernmental agreement for joint use of facilities for recreational, athletic, and educational purposes between the Atlanta Independent School System aka Atlanta Public Schools, and the City of Atlanta for the purpose of creating a cooperative relationship for the implementation of mutually beneficial initiatives that support APS students and the city's residents and for other purposes.
Thank you. Colleagues, if you'll recall from our last full council meeting, we referred this one back to committee. It's my understanding from Parks and Recs that legal is still working on this agreement, and so they'd like for us to hold the item. So I'll make a motion to hold.
Second.
The vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item's held in committee. Number 8, 24R 4656, a resolution by Community Development and Human Services Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into task order listed here for architectural planning, design, and engineering construction phase services, Group B large with Pond GVSA LLC in an amount not to exceed $560,037.00 for their Memorial Drive Greenway project, and authorizing the chief financial officer to make the payment from the account number listed herein and for other purposes.
Deputy Commissioner Hicks.
Good afternoon, council members. I'm Keith Hicks, interim deputy commissioner with Parks and Recreation. The purpose of the resolution is to authorize task order number 1 for the Memorial Drive Greenway project, which aims to enhance green space, connectivity, and recreational opportunities in District 5. The project supports the city's commitment to sustainability, community enrichment, and infrastructure improvement. Partnerships. The city will work with Pond GVSA LLC, an experienced contractor selected through RFPS 121-0026C to provide architectural planning, design, engineering, and construction phase services. The funding amount allots $560,037 specifically for the Memorial Drive Greenway project, funded through the 2022 A1 General Obligation Public Improvements Bonds, social bonds. The scope of work. The project encompasses the following: architectural and engineering services, including planning, design, and oversight of construction. Greenway development, focused on creating a sustainable and accessible greenway along Memorial Drive. And I know a lot of you have been over there, and that is a very treacherous walk, pedestrian experience. And so we're gonna fix that. Community impact enhances recreational opportunities, environmental sustainability, and urban infrastructure in District 5. The financial structure is a total of, like before, $560,037 will be drawn from the 2022 A1 GO Public Improvements Bond, social bonds, allotted to a designated account. Community benefits. The project will improve access to green spaces, enhance quality of life, and promote healthy lifestyles for residents and visitors. It also supports the long-term goals of fostering environmental and economic sustainability. And in closing, I would just like to say that this resolution represents a strategic investment in the future of District 5, advancing both environmental sustainability and community engagement.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from colleagues? Got a motion to approve. I'll second. Also, I know it's a tiny slither of the Memorial Park Greenway is in District 1 as well, but I know Councilmember Bakhtiari and her team have been very great at communicating a lot of the plans. They've been leading the charge on this with, I think there's a group of community folks that have been involved for a very long time that are excited to see this project move forward. And actually, I think it will be probably one of the closest new parks to City Hall. If I'm not mistaken. So lots of great benefits in the general area as well. So we got a motion to approve. I'll second. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item's approved.
Thank you.
Number 9, 24R 4657, a resolution by Community Development and Human Services Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer or his designee to make a donation in a total amount not to exceed $35,000.00 on behalf of the Department of Parks and Recreation to the Atlanta Memorial Park Conservancy pursuant to Section 6-306 of the City of Atlanta's Charter and for other purposes.
Motion to approve. I'll second. Can you please open the vote.
The vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays.
I donated money to this cause as well.
Here are several held items that the committee can take. Numbers 14, 16, and 17 can be taken as a block.
Please proceed.
Item number 14, 24O1260, CDP 2414, an ordinance by Community Development and Human Services Committee to amend the land use element of the 2021 Atlanta Comprehensive Development Plan so as to redesignate property located at 3074 Margaret Mitchell Drive Northwest from the single-family residential land use designation to the office institution land use designation and for other purposes. Number 16, 24O1256, CDP 2408, a substitute ordinance by Community Development and Human Services Committee to amend the land use element of the 2021 Atlanta Comprehensive Development Plan so as to redesignate property located at 1051 and 1109 Moreland Drive Southeast and 1721 Woodland Avenue Southeast from the single-family residential land use designation to the low-density residential land use designation and for other purposes. Number 17, 24O1258, CDP 2412, an ordinance by Community Development and Human Services Committee to amend the land use element of the 2021 Atlanta Comprehensive Development Plan so as to redesignate property located at 1109 and 1113 Moreland Drive Southeast from the single-family residential land use designation to the medium-density residential land use designation and for other purposes. All of these we've been asked to file.
I'll make a motion to file. Is there a second?
Second.
Got a second? Can you please open the vote?
The vote is open. Vote is closed. These items have been filed. Number 21, 24O1591, an ordinance by council members Jason Winston and Amir Faroki as amended by the Community Development and Human Services Committee authorizing a transfer in an amount not to exceed $125,000.00 from the District 2 discretionary fund account to the Department of Parks and Recreation for the purpose of installing pickleball courts in Central Park and for other purposes. Request is the file.
Colleagues, there's new walk-in legislation that will replace this one, so I'll make a motion to file. Is there a second? A second by Dozier. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item is filed. Finally, or almost finally, number 25. 24R4523, a resolution by Councilmember Marcy Collier Overstreet to expand the boundaries of the Airport West Community Improvement District as authorized by the General Assembly of the State of Georgia in the Fulton County Community Improvement District Act to remove certain parcels of the improvement district and for other purposes.
This legislation needs to be amended to attach Exhibits A, B, and C, so I'll make a motion to amend.
Second.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item is amended.
Colleagues, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We got a motion to approve. A second by Councilmember Dozier. Can you please open the vote?
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas and 0 nays. It's favorable as amended. Lastly, the walk-in legislation has ELMS ID 37038, a resolution by Community Development and Human Services Committee to authorize the mayor or his designee to add funding to the managing general contractor services with Kissberg Parker Fry, a joint venture, in an amount not to exceed $125,000.00 for the purpose of installing pickleball courts in Central Park on behalf of the Department of Parks and Recreation, and authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to make the payment from the District 2 discretionary fund account listed herein and for other purposes.
I'll make a motion to approve. Got a second by Councilmember Boone. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item's approved.
Thank you.
That's all the legislation.
Well, thank you, everybody, for a great 2024 CDHS. Happy to be back next year as your chair again. So happy for that. And with that, I'll take any parting words or comments.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to mention on the record exciting news about the Beltline, because the Beltline was not here today, but will be giving their next quarterly update on Monday. And we know that the Beltline, as we are completing the loop, is going to go through Peachtree Road, underneath Peachtree Road at Bennett Street. The game plan is that GDOT, the Georgia Department of Transportation, will widen the bridge so that the Beltline can go underneath. But what's most recently been discussed, which is so exciting, is that we are very close to two major medical institutions, the Shepherd Center and Piedmont Hospital. And Piedmont Hospital now has a rehabilitation hospital on their top floor. So you have two medical facilities that provide extraordinary rehabilitation. And what we are looking at is having those two institutions that are uphill from Bennett Street, that the design be able to accommodate patients and families in wheelchairs, limited mobility, to be able to get to Bennett Street, to the Beltline, and then be able to access each east and west. That will be groundbreaking in the country, that we have that kind of outdoor access for people who are at one of our major rehabilitation facilities. So it's GDOT, and it's Shepherd, and it's Piedmont, and it's the city of Atlanta, and it's everybody coming together to have not only the Beltline finished, but the design to accommodate not just ADA, but literally the elevation and switchbacks and necessity of being able to have people be able to access the Beltline in Buckhead, which will be very, very exciting. So since the Beltline's not here today, I'm making the announcement first.
Right. Great. Any other questions, comments from colleagues? I do want to also go.
And they will have their quarterly update on Monday, which will discuss all this.
I think their own ABI update will be online that they'll do. So you can go on the Atlanta Beltline Inc. website to find out details on how to go to their quarterly update. Also want to just take the opportunity to just thank amazing staff that we've had for the year. Specifically, I want to give a shout out to Jared Evans, who is rotating to a new committee next year, so he won't be with us for CDHS. We'll be joined by Ms. Jasmine Tell, who will be in his seat starting the new year, but just appreciate you all for helping these meetings run smoothly and all your hard work. And then lastly, I just want to give a very special happy shout out to my wife. Today is her birthday. So just happy birthday, Shalia, who turned 25 again today. So happy birthday. I'll see you soon. With that, we stand adjourned.